It's all wintry and cold, and it's almost Christmas, so it's time to talk about some of my favorite winter reads. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today, all about winter. All about winter vibes, winter aesthetic, winter whatever. Now, I'm gonna be so honest with you guys, it does not feel like winter here. I'm looking outside right now, it's like almost 50 degrees and it's raining. I could not be more disappointed with this winter weather. And I live in the Midwest, so like typically we get decent winters, and this just has not been it for us. But maybe like January, February, March, we might get some winter action. Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know what I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. It's almost the holidays, and I feel really good about that. I'm actually in a pretty good place, with my holiday planning and everything, which is definitely a first. I'm usually very disorganized around this time of year, but I'm making it happen. I'm determined to not, get overwhelmed this year by the holidays, and I think it's working. So what are we talking about today? Today, again, winter vibes, winter aesthetic. I read, especially around this time of year, and it bleeds into January, winter type books. So today I wanted to share with you guys some of my all-time favorite winter book recommendations. So we're gonna have kind of mixed genres today, but I am gonna kind of categorize them, and I'm excited. There are some repeats on here from last year's winter episode, and then just throughout the year of some of my favorite books, because there were just a few that I could not mention because they're some of my absolute favorite winter books ever. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's kind of start with the romance category, or rom-com category, sort of. The first book I want to talk about is Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Myracle. Okay, so this got turned into a film. I feel like I watched it in 2020. So it's on Netflix. Let me tell y'all, the film was an extremely loose adaptation. Extremely loose. To this book, okay? I really don't understand the correlation between the film and the book, because the book was really, really good and the film was really weird. I felt like it was really weird. It was so awkward. I don't know. Maybe if you guys seen it, maybe you haven't. I found the film to be borderline unbearable. I really didn't like it at all. The book, however, this was so cute. Okay, if you like winter, first, the winter aesthetic, obviously, and then second, there were just these little puns, winter type puns all over this book. This is 3 short stories, okay, that kind of intertwine together. It's almost serendipitous. And so we have bleed through from characters in the first story meeting up with characters in the second story, and everything about this book was just so much fun to me. It was finding little Easter eggs throughout the whole thing, and each story has its own kind of feel and idea and arc to it, and then the whole thing comes together throughout the whole story. I think that these 3 authors really did a great job. Obviously, John Green, I read a lot of John Green, so this was so exciting to see his work in here. And then Maureen Johnson and Lauren Myracle also did just a phenomenal job. This is my first time reading any of their stuff, and I really, really loved it. This is YA though, so if it's not going to be anything smutty, no really adult content or anything like that. It's basically about a group of teens that get snowed in to this town, and each of them are there for a different reason. Some of them live there, and then some of them are just kind of passing through, and some of them are visiting friends that are there but they don't live there. So it's kind of fun to see how all the stories fit together and how each story has its own kind of thing happening to it. This is just really great to put you in the mood. I really loved it. I thought it was so much fun. Like I said, if you watch the movie and were not impressed, this is nothing like the movie. I feel like the only thing close between them two is like the names of people in the book, because honestly, the book was so much better. In this case, the book was just phenomenal compared to the film. So I highly encourage you to read it. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Winter Street by Elin Hilderbrand. Okay, this is part of the Winter Street series. And for, I think there's 5 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books? Can't remember now, sorry. In this series. And for a while, it was like my December tradition to read the next book in the series. I loved this. Now, the only thing I didn't like is the last book. And I did talk about this somewhere on my channel. The last book did not work for me at all. But the whole idea of Winter Street to me was just magical and wonderful. It's basically about this family that has an inn on Nantucket Island. And they run the inn as a family. And like, the family is split up. Like, the parents got divorced. And so this is all everyone, like, as an adult, kind of merging together at the holiday to spend the holiday together. And all of their little stories and intricacies of a large family. Like, if you like the movie The Family Stone, you would really like this series, because it kind of has that same sort of family dynamic where everybody loves each other, but also everyone has their own secrets, and not everyone likes each other, but they come together at Christmas time anyway. And then you kind of have the pinnacle of the family, which in this case is the dad, Kelly, that sort of holds everything together every year. It's just great. It's just great. Like I said, the last book, though, for me, skip it. Just skip it. It's not worth it. But the other books in the series, like, it was just such a joy to pick this up every Christmas. And every year, like, every book in the Winter Street series is at Christmas time. Like, them coming together at Christmas every year. It's just, it's fun. It's easy. Like, they're very short books. They're easy to read. They're fun. And it just really always put me in the holiday spirit, because they just did it, holiday stuff, like, so big in this book. Yeah. Okay, so this next one is definitely a smut book. It is Santa's Broken Toy by Oona Grace. Oh my gosh, I love this book. This is definitely like smutty Santa later in life. Like, I mean, look at the cover. It's so good. It's so good. You don't want to miss this one. I think she's running a special on it actually right now on Amazon for like 99 cents for the digital copy. Like, go get. I'm going to drop the link down here so you can go check it out. It's totally worth it. It's like a little novella. It has so much in it. So much. It's just, if you're wanting something a little smutty, a little dirty, also, like, the storyline of this book was so beautiful to me. There's just like this really amazing underlying arc for our main character that was just done so well. Like, a lot of times you get like smut books and it's just sexy scenes. Okay, which is fine. This does have a depth to it though that I was not expecting, and I absolutely love. So this is my smutty romance recommendation for winter. So this next one, I've definitely talked about this on my channel. It's called Wintering by Katherine May. I adore this book. It does feel a little self-helpy. So if that's not really what you're into, skip it. But I need that this time of year. Wintering is a lot about like taking care of yourself during the dark times of the year, when depression kind of like sneaks up on you really easily, just seasonal stuff and everything. This is sort of like Katherine May's story of her going through a hard time and sort of learning how to take care of herself mentally, physically in this hard time. I think it was really beautifully done. A lot of people in the comment section of this book, like in the review section, will tell you like, it's so privileged, it's so this, it's so that must be nice. Because Katherine May does talk a lot about how she took a lot of time off from her regular job to like take care of her child and to take care of herself and to like heal and get help when she needed it. And if you're an American reading this book, I can definitely see how this would seem like a privileged thing. But Katherine May is not American. She does not live in America. She does not live in the American like medical system like we do in America. And so honestly, to me, it was more of a glimpse of how other countries and other places value people's mental health and physical health and how different the systems are, and that you could probably get better help somewhere else. That's how I read it anyway. It was really like interesting to see the differences in how our two countries handle people's mental illnesses, mental health issues, physical illnesses. It was very eye-opening to me. So if you're American and you're going into reading this, you need to remember that this is not an American story. This is not set in an American country. Like, the system is completely different. So for Katherine May to come forward and tell her story and be called privileged, I thought was a little bit rude, but each their own. I highly recommend it if you suffer from seasonal depression. Really, I do. It was just, I read it in January. I can't remember which January now. And that's really when it hits me pretty bad. And I just remember feeling like I could breathe again. Katherine May just really did something wonderful here. Okay, I have one more to share with you before we get into the thrillers, which I think is why most people have come. This one is called The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict, and I would definitely call this like murder mystery, but it definitely had a thriller edge to it. So I didn't put it all the way in the thriller category, but it definitely has thriller elements in it. This book was really, really fun. So basically we have a main character who has suffered a tragedy at her family home. And I think they call it in-game house. I feel like that's what they call it. And it's just like this big sprawling estate with a maze, this huge mansion kind of thing. So basically, every year at Christmas, they have like this mystery game. And they have all these clues over the 12 days of Christmas. And then whoever solves the puzzle first on like the last day or whatever, whoever has the answer, gets the best present. Okay, so this is something that they've played like their whole lives. Our main character, female main character, has suffered a tragedy at this house and has told herself she's never going back. Well, the person that puts on the end game mystery at Christmas has passed away. And she has sent, before her death, she has sent a message to everyone in the family saying this is the last in-game mystery game at the house for Christmas, and whoever wins gets the house and the estate and everything. It's worth like millions of dollars, okay? So they all decide to go, and they show up, and they start playing the game. And as they start playing the game, people start dying. It's really fun. It's really fun if you're good at riddles, if you're good at like solving puzzles. It's so much fun. And at the beginning of the book, Alexandra Benedict put in like the opening notes that there's a game hidden inside of the book for the reader too. I'm not very good at those, so like it took me a long time to figure out how to play the game. But at the end of the book, like she tells you where the answers are and stuff, so like you're not just like left hanging with the game and figuring out if you played it right. But this was really fun. My biggest issue, the pace was not that good. Because we're supposed to be going like over the 12 days of Christmas, right? And we were like over halfway through the book, and we were only on day 3. And then after that, it was just kind of like a mad dash to the end. So I think the pacing was just not really that well done, but everything else about the book was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So if you would like be interested in something like that, this was really cool. And I am actually looking at reading another Alexandra Benedict book because I like the way that she kind of set everything up in this book. Like I said, pace wasn't the best, but it made up for it in the end and closed it up so tight. Very good ending that I really, really liked. Okay, so let's get into the thrillers, right? Winter thrillers. Now, I didn't want it to be a copy paste of what I did last year, so yeah, there's not that many on the list. I didn't want to like, you know, just do a repeat of the winter segment that I did last year, but these are my all-time favorite winter thrillers. We're going to start with Descent by Tim Johnston. I read this quite a long time ago, and I still think about it. It still messes with me. So basically, these two teens, sister, younger brother, are on vacation with their parents in Colorado, and they decide, let's go for a morning run, right? So they go for a morning run. He stops to tie his shoes and says, hey, I'll catch up with you. She says, okay, I'm going to run ahead. She runs ahead. He never finds her. Never sees her again. She's missing. Like, middle of broad daylight on the side of the mountain, gone. And so this whole story is about them trying to find her and what ended up happening to her on that mountain. Now, when she was taken, it was probably summertime, but a majority of this book is set in winter. This just gives me all the winter vibes, because when I call back on this book, it's all the winter settings that I call back on. This book was really interesting, nice thriller edge, and a lot of grief in this book, and like how people process grief, how people process like someone missing and like dying but not dying, because they just don't know, like it's a disappearance. And so we're getting both sides of the coin, and we're getting all of the family's perspective as well as the perspective of the girl that went missing. This was just very dynamic and exciting. Like I said, when I call back on it, all I remember solidly are the winter scenes in this book, which were done really well. I had a complaint about the ending because it just didn't seem super realistic to me. Like, after everything came out, like how the family dealt with everything didn't seem super realistic to me. And if you read the book, like, we can chat about it, I'd love that. But yes, I really like this book. The next one I'm going to talk about is One by One by Ruth Ware. I read this last year, I think. And this definitely just didn't disappoint completely, but the ending did not work for me. Like, I felt like the pacing at the end of the book was just not done right. But I really like Ruth Ware. I've read quite a few of her books, and I think that if you like Ruth Ware, this is an easy one to pick up that you would definitely like. So people get snowed in at this hotel. Like, this big tech company, I think it's a music tech company, go up there because they're trying to like sort out their issues and come to some sort of an agreement together as a company. So they're doing like a little company retreat up at this like private hotel, where there's like lots of skiing and stuff. Well, the first night they get there, they decide to go skiing just as a storm is about to move in, and the CEO or CFO, she's someone really important, goes missing right as the storm is hitting. Like, she goes missing. And so we're unraveling the mystery of this woman going missing, and as the days and nights progress, more and more people on the retreat end up dead. And so, you know, obviously the goal of it is to figure out what's happening and unearth everybody's secrets and everything. This did a really good job of layering a lot of ideas. And I had trouble just trying to figure out who did it. Like, every time I thought I had it figured out, I didn't. It had Ruth Ware did a really good job with the misdirect here. And I just felt like I was almost there. And I didn't. Now, the end of the book was very fast-paced and dynamic, very exciting. It just lasted too long. Like, there was too much happening. There was a lot happening with the ending. Very exciting, like I said. But then, like, when everything kind of came to light and, you know, we figured everything out, there was a good 2 chapters after that of just, like, follow-up stuff that just wasn't for me. I don't know why we had to do it like that. I think it could have been wrapped up like a lot simpler, and it just didn't need to drag on quite so much. But the whole idea of the story was really good. The pace was really good. It was exciting. And like I said, I tried so hard to figure it out on my own, and I couldn't. Like, Ruth Ware really just led with the misdirect here. Okay, there's only 2 more. And I've talked about both these books a lot on my channel because they're really good. One is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. First of all, the cover. Okay, this says a lot about the book, right? We're at this, like, it used to be in an insane asylum, and I think it's in the Swiss Alps or the French Alps. Can't remember. But it's been converted into a hotel, which is, like, super cool. And we're there with our main character, who is a detective, but she's not a detective right now because she's on leave because she's had basically like a mental breakdown. And so we're getting her story of getting to this sanatorium, and someone very close to her has turned up dead, and she is forced to like kind of solve the murder because they get snowed in. No one can come up and help figure out what happened, you know, because everything's snowed in. So she has to sit down and try and like muddle through things, and she's just an extremely unreliable narrator because she second guesses herself a lot because of the mental issues that she's had throughout the last couple of years, and like is one of the chief reasons why she's no longer a practicing detective. It's just really interesting. The pace is phenomenal. Really good gore in this book, honestly. Like, I wasn't expecting that, but the like discovery scenes and stuff I thought were done really well. I really loved what Sarah Pearse did with this main character, and like the second guessing and the mind games that were happening on the page just within herself. I think it was just really well done. And then the setting was just perfect. I mean, we're at this old sanatorium that's been converted into a hotel, and it's got like all these secret passageways and all this creepy stuff that kind of happens there. Lots of really good stuff. This is part of a series. I have not continued the series because I just haven't found time. I want to, though. I want to read the next book because the first one was so good. Okay, this is the last one. It's Shiver by Allie Reynolds. If y'all been here a minute, y'all know I love this book. I rave about this book every time it starts to get cold. I think about this book all the time. It was just so well done. The last like 6 pages of this book were just amazing. Okay. Premise. We have a group of snowboarders and snow skiers that got together when they were like in their teens and did like competitive snow sports, right? They all got together over this summer to train and compete on this mountain. A tragedy happens, and one of the members of their like group ends up passing away. So they all go their separate ways, right? And then mysteriously, on the 10-year anniversary, I think it's the 10-year anniversary of that person going missing, they each get an invitation to go to a reunion or a memorial service at the hotel where it all happened, as a way for them to like kind of make peace and say goodbye and reconnect after all these years, and sort of just flush everything out and let it go. You know, like grief, let the grief go. And so they all show up there, and when they all get there, they all realize that none of them planned the reunion. Someone, a third party that they don't know, planned it all and got them all up on that mountain. And the second that they realize that that's happened, all the power goes out and they're stuck up there. And of course, a huge like blizzard comes in, right? And so the thing about all of this is that member of their group that they lost body's never been recovered. They don't know what happened to them. They don't know where they are. Nothing. They have no idea what happened. And so as we're there, this third party that gathered them all is leaving them clues, telling them they know what happened to this person. And so then we start getting everyone's secrets, everyone's stories, and we start to unravel the days and events surrounding when this person disappeared. And yeah, it's just, you start to find out that not everybody was as happy together as they let on. It's really great stuff. It's really great. And like I said, the last like couple of pages, when everything comes to light, it's just wow. Allie Reynolds knocked it out of the park. I think I read this like in January maybe, or maybe it was a December. I can't remember, but I remember thinking like, what a way to like start the year. It was such a good book. I will never not recommend this book to people. If you like thrillers, if you like toxic relationships, if you like the intricacies of like friend groups and things like that, if you like any kind of competitive sports, lots of really cool stuff happening in this book. And the setting was just perfect. Because you have all these people that are really well acquainted with snow, stuck somewhere that they can't get out of. It's just, I don't know. Allie Reynolds just blew me away with this book. I absolutely love it, and I will never not recommend this book. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. This is a little bit of a long one. But I think this was good. Like, we got some rom-com, we got erotica, we got kind of like a self-help book, and then we got a murder mystery and thrillers in this, and I think that's great. I think that covers like a lot of bases for like every type of reader or whatever you like to read this time of year. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit more wintry outside. It's just like I can literally see the green in my grass still. Like, I'm looking out my window right now and it looks like fall still. Like, there's There's still leaves down there. My grass is like half green, half brown. I don't know. Like I said, it's raining today. It's so weird. It's so weird. I really would like the winter vibe now because we're like really close to Christmas, and I think I'll be just a little sad if we don't get something more Christmassy for Christmas. Anyway, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and please drop me a comment telling me what your favorite winter book is, what your winter vibe is for your book selections. If you are a seasonal reader, if you like to read like, you know, wintry stuff right now, if you like to read stuff in the fall, if you like to read spring stuff in the spring. This is like the only time of year that I'm really like dedicated to reading seasonally. Yeah, maybe I'm just like trying to manifest the snow right now. I hope you found something interesting to read, or if if one of these is your favorite books, I would love to hear about that too. But yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the end of the year content. I'm excited about my January content, and I hope that you'll tag along with me as we go through that. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.